With the Atlanta Hawks acquiring new talented players, it's only right for our expectations of the team to rise. Not just the team as a whole though, but the star of the Hawks himself, Trae Young. If the Hawks want to win in a serious way, they first need Trae Young to be the leader he has shown he can be. This is easily the best roster Young has ever had, and he needs to become the best version of himself to reach the full potential of this team. If he locks in, he could mimic Steve Nash's MVP seasons, while possibly even bringing home a championship in the process. Trae Young does have his deficiencies though. He often gets scrutinized due to his lack of defensive effort and low efficiency. Standing at 6'1", 164 pounds, he naturally isn't much of a defensive menace, though his effort could improve. His efficiency is another story, as that can and will improve as there is now more threats that the opposing defense has to worry about, lightening the load on Trae. Not only did the front office add offensive weapons like Porzingis and Kennard, but also an excellent defender in Nickeil Alexander-Walker. Dyson Daniels and Alexander Walker will become an elite defensive duo for Atlanta, which will make up for Trae's lack of defense, all while having 7'2" Kristaps Porzingis clean up any mistakes in the paint. The Hawks have done a great job bringing in talent that suppresses Trae's main weaknesses, and now it's time for Young and his Atlanta Hawks to truly shine and stun the league. How likely could a Steve Nash-esque MVP be for him? Trae and Nash have at least one thing in common. They are extremely unselfish players that strive to make their teammates better. Steve Nash averaged 11.5 assists in his first MVP season. Trae averaged 11.6 in the 24-25 season. Steve Nash had a perfect pick-and-roll partner in Amari Stoudemire, just like Trae will have his perfect pick-and-roll partner in Jalen Johnson, who has shown he is explosive and can produce at a high level, allowing Trae to have sort of a Steve Nash, Amari Stoudemire type offense, but with added spacing. With the new Hawks additions, I could easily see Trae averaging a cool 14 assists per game. That may sound like a bit much, but think about it. If he can already average nearly 12 assists while not even playing with another all-star caliber player, he can easily bump up his assist average with the new spacing of Porzingis and Kennard. This isn't even factoring in the potential offensive leaps for Jalen Johnson, Zachary Risache, and Dyson Daniels, along with a deep bench. 25-year-old Jalen Johnson is a borderline all-star caliber player whose leap could see him become a force in this league. 20-year-old Zachary Risache was the first pick in the 2024 NBA draft, and his potential is often compared to a 6'10" Klay Thompson. 22-year-old Dyson Daniels arrived in the DeJounte Murray trade and became the best defensive menace on the perimeter and a DPOY candidate last season. If Dyson is able to develop a polished offensive game, including a consistent jump shot, that would tremendously help Trae in the backcourt. The Hawks have one of the most underrated young cores in the league. A Trae Young MVP would mostly hinge on team performance and public reputation. Even if Trae averages 28 and 15, the team as a whole needs to be at the top of their conference and viewed as one of the best teams in the league. Trae needs to be respected by not only his peers, but rival GMs and coaches. Steve Nash was a very respected player and individual, which greatly aided his MVP cases, especially while the runner-up for the 05-06 MVP, Kobe Bryant, who was at the time averaging 35 points, would be tangled in controversy that dimmed his image. The media has never had much of a liking for Trae Young, unless it's including him in a trade rumor to a large market team, and this fact will be Trae's biggest obstacle for an MVP case. More often than not, Young is depicted as a villain, a coach killer, and immature. He has to shake off this false public perception and show everybody he's deserving of an MVP award while constantly elevating his teammates. I envision the Hawks as a top 2 seed in a wide open Eastern Conference, with Trae having his best season yet, maybe something along the lines of 24 and 14 on decent shooting splits. Having the best perimeter defender in the league right next to him will only make his life easier. Trae could deliver the Hawks' first championship and MVP since 1959, if all goes well. What do you think? Will Trae put together a Steve Nash-style MVP season and bring Atlanta to glory? Or will his weaknesses simply be too glaring to get it done? Let me know in the comment section. Like and subscribe if you enjoy this type of content. Peace out, y'all.